For a couple of years now, beating a video game without taking a single hit has been very popular. Everyone has at least heard of the Happy Hop beating the Dark Souls trilogy without taking a single hit.
Souls no hit run! We did it!
So it wasn't long before this challenge would be done in the highest grossing video game franchise in the entire world. Currently, damageless runs for every single generation have been completed, but there are some games that are still missing. Black and White 2, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Sequels to the original that are different enough to warrant a video of their own. I've done a damageless run of Soul Silver before, not realizing that someone else had already done it, but this gave me a good idea of what I was getting myself into. Pokemon Ultra Sun is a more difficult version of Pokemon Sun, with higher levels, smarter AI, and this monster, and I'm going to try to beat it without taking a single hit point of damage. Before we get into the run, let me explain the rules I set for myself. Obviously, I can't take damage, at all. I'm allowed to save after every trial, not just the grand trials, but the normal ones as well. Everything I do has to be within my own copy of the game, so tools like Pokemon Bank and trading between games for trade evolutions are not allowed. And finally, I'm not allowed to use Pokemon Refresh and the Pokepelago for EV trading. I'll explain Pokepelago more when I actually start using it, but if I want to EV trade now, it'll be against wild Pokemon. Those are the rules, it's time for the run. We start our adventure by being woken up by a Meowth snapping me out of my dream about big anime titties. After getting dressed, I take my first step into the world. On my first day of being deported to Hawaii, I get jumped by Trump. But, just like democracy, we outnumber someone, you win. We meet Kukui and get our starter Pokemon, Litten. Litten is the best starter choice because it can one-shot the Caterpies on this route, and learns Double Kick at level 16. Unlike Sun and Moon, we don't have to fight Hau immediately, so we can start grinding. When we reach level 10, we can take on Hau and one-shot his Rowlet with Ember. When trying to save a girl's pocket monster, we die. Never mind, we have plot armor. After sleeping off this traumatic experience, we have to do more grinding for the next rival fight. Since the last battle, Hau has added a Pichu with static, so I can't use my newly acquired Fire Fang because it has a chance to miss, and I could get paralyzed. So I have to train up to level 15 so my Ember takes it out. If you haven't noticed, at the bottom right it says resets 1, that is because my first attempt didn't go so smooth.
It's like, I do have to use it in the future, definitely. No!
At night on Route 1, there's a chance for a Rattata to spawn at level 4. At level 4, Rattata learns Quick Attack, something I completely forgotten about. After burning Hau's entire team to a crisp, we obtain our gimmick from Hala, reach level 16 to learn Double Kick, and proceed to the trainer school. The teacher of the trainer school has a Popplio at level 10, and to beat it, we need to evolve Litten and grind all the way to level 21. Double Kick is very important for grinding in this grass, because their Magnemite was sturdy. Training was going just fine until this happened.
But if you were to base it, like Double Kick has kind of helped me out, seeing how damage is. Usually it's
Meowth in this game have a 5% chance of holding a Quick Claw. The Quick Claw also has a 20% chance of popping, giving me 100% reason to cry myself to sleep at night. After doing it all again, I finally fought the teacher and beat her.
After becoming the fastest graduate in history, we meet the evil team of this generation, Team Comic Relief. True to their name, they're comically easy. I'm then challenged by Trial Captain Elimo, who doesn't have any priority moves, so Double Kick is enough to take both his normal types out. After a series of pretty uneventful battles, picking up the silver powder and meeting robot people, we made it to Verdant Cavern, and I was ready. Actually, never mind. I thought I was ready, but unfortunately the Totem Gumshoes has a +1 defense aura, so we have to do some extra grinding. We unlocked the Festival Plaza right in front of Verdant Cavern. While the Festival Plaza is a very horrible feature, it does give us access to the rare kitchen facility. This place allows you to feed your Pokemon a rare breakfast, which gives any Pokemon that is level 29 or below a level. I do have to watch out though, because a Pokemon will not learn moves or evolve, if you use this method. I forgot about this and missed out on Bite at level 24. There's a pattern here. Back to Verdant Cavern with my level 26 Torracat. We pick up the TM for Brick Break and reach out to grab the Mammalian Z, only to be stopped by the Totem Gumshoes. We expertly kick the living crap out of the Totem Pokemon and beat the first trial, which also gives us our first save point. Now that I don't lose my levels, it was time I caught some team members. Nest Balls are made available to you very early on, so catching Pokemon becomes much easier. I catch a Zorua in the Trainer School and a Hawlucha on Route 3. Hawlucha is an extremely fast flying type Pokemon that will help us in the next Grand Trial. What's coming up next is a pretty scary fight against Dulce in Seaward Cave. With my current Torracat, there's about a 50% chance to OHKO his Furfrou. I wasn't using extra rare breakfast because this was before I decided to save, reset, and move time forward, and grinding is such a pain now because your Pokemon gain less experience every time their level increases. I decided to test my luck, and it worked out. After forcefully shoving Nebby into the bag, I was forced into a battle with Hau, which would have been fine if it wasn't for the fact that his now evolved Pikachu has Quick Attack. All I could do was hope that this Pikachu didn't feel like pressing Quick Attack. Fuck you, Pikachu. Damn anime cry. He didn't do it!
Fuck you!
And it didn't. My luck was absolutely incredible, and I wanted to carry this momentum all the way to Hala. Unfortunately, I realized something the moment I started the battle with Hala. I'm not ready. As I said, I'm not ready because I'm stupid. Oh my lord, I am stupid. I'm gonna have to reset. I have to reset. I have to reset. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm resetting. So anticlimactic. Lady Luck's light had to shine on me for the third time. I Fire Fanged the Machop. I tried to double kick the Makuhita, but Hala is actually smart and he went for Fake Out. So I had to reset. I needed to find something to deal with Fake Out. I could either get my own Fake Out Pokemon, like Meowth, or get a Ghost type from Holy Cemetery. I decided to get a Ghost type, because they also resist Quick Attack, and we just so happened to fight a Pikachu with Quick Attack in an alternate universe. I had two options readily available, Drifloon and Ghastly. They're both viable Pokemon to use, but I went with Drifloon, because it requires less grinding because of its part flying type. Save the frames, kill the Hala is what I say. Unfortunately, Drifloon doesn't get any good offensive moves to beat Pikachu until level 20, so I went with a different strategy. By sending in Hawlucha, I was hoping to bait out the super effective Thunder Shot, and it worked. Time to fight Hala again. Looking at his team, there's only one thing on his team that can damage Drifloon, which was his ace for Brawler. I Fire Fanged the Machop again because I felt spicy, and sent in Drifloon against the Makuhita. This is where something unexpected happened. Oh, he swaps! Hala actually switched his Brawler, something I hadn't prepared for. I didn't have a switch because I was going to pursue and I didn't know if I was going to two-shot it. But I did just enough to two-shot it, probably thanks to the Sharp Beak I equipped at Melemele Meadow to train against Butterfreeze. After Brawler goes down, Drifloon finishes the Makuhita and we beat the Grand Trial. Oh, sorry. Before we continue, I want to give a little disclaimer. As you'll probably notice, in the bottom right corner, my reset counter is going to jump up exponentially. This is because I did this part before, up to the fire trial. But unfortunately, it would seem that I lost the footage of that. So I had to re-record the footage. And from here on out, it'll only come from recordings, not from actual livestream VODs. If you have a problem with that, every single recording will be uploaded to my unused VOD channel so that you can check the validity of my run. Anyway, back to the video. After beating the Grand Trial, I catch a Rockruff because when Rockruff evolves into Lycanroc, it gets Accelerock, a priority move that can hit every single type without side effects. like Sucker Punch, where you need your target to use an attack move, or First Impression and Fake Out, that can only be used on the first turn you send them on in. After obtaining the Flyinium Z, who are you? It was time to go to the next island, or so you thought. Before going to Heiheia City, we need to prepare. You are locked out of any kind of wild encounters until after you beat Dexio from the Kalos crew. He has an Espeon with Quick Attack. To beat it, we need Drifloon to reach level 28 and evolve into Drifloon. Remember that we can't use Rare Breakfast to get Drifloon to level 28 because it won't evolve. So we need to get it to level 26, grind to level 27 to learn Hex, and then grind to level 28. But I'm stupid and forgot that it applied to evolution as well, so imagine my shock when I fed it a Rare Breakfast and it didn't evolve. Now we at least know it isn't possessed by the spirit of Honey Boo Boo.
We Mantine Surf to get some BP so I can teach Fire Punch to Incineroar in the future.
Apparently Drifloon at level 28 is enough to beat Espeon, so that's what I did. After a bit more grinding, I was able to evolve my Drifloon into Drifblim. When I arrive in Paniolo Town, Hao challenges me to another battle, and this time, he has another Pokemon with Quick Attack. But my Drifblim is just too strong. I gimmick the Dart Tricks, I use Hex on Pikachu and Noibat, and take out Eevee with 2 Gusts because he can't hit me. I did my first ever double battle with a Prankster Cottony, with Stun Spores, so that was a bit scary. And then we faced off against the tallest of mountains, the roughest of waves, the toughest of terrors, the darkest of days. He's the last one that's standing. Don't try to stand in his way, because he's been up against better. Just take a look at his face. Oh, it's over. We pick up a Rossberry from a berry heap and head for the water trial grounds. In Sun and Moon, you fight a Totem Wishy-Washy with a +1 defense aura, but in Ultra Sun and Moon, this is replaced by a Totem Araquanid with a +1 speed aura, and is holding a Wakan Berry, which weakens electric type attacks, which is easier or harder depending on who you're asking. Using the power of the gimmick, I am able to one-shot the Araquanid, beating another trial.
With the Fire Trial coming up, I decided to evolve my Rockruff. Currently, every single trial has been decided by pressing the super effective button and ending the fight before the totem can even call an ally. But this time, things are different. More on that later. After saving a Drifloon from Team Comic Relief, we arrive at the Royal Avenue, where we're required to participate in the Battle Royale. Now instead of 1 or 2 enemies that can target you, we now have 3. But because this is a tutorial fight, it ends when you knock out 1 Pokemon. The best Pokemon to knock out for the highest chance of victory is Hao's Dartrix, because it has Razor Leaf, a move that hits everyone. After that, we just hope the other 2 don't attack us. With the Battle Royale behind us, we can move on to Wella Volcano Park, the location of the Fire Trial. Before we get into the trial, however, we're going to have to do a ton of grinding. In this trial, we first fight an Alola Marowak, then a hike over the Magmar, and finally, instead of Sun and Moon's frail Salazzle, we have the beefy Alola Marowak that has a +2 speed aura. These fights are all back to back. Not only do we have a tougher Pokemon to beat, but the Marowak also has the move Detect, which will always go for the first turn, so we have no way of avoiding an ally being called. But what about the Waterium Z, you might ask? I thought the same thing, but after looking through every encounter we can get, the best case scenario would have been a Drizzle Pelipper to set up the rain, with Brine using Waterium Z at level 36. But to train a Pokemon from level 30 to 36 is a huge pain, so I had a different, riskier strat in mind. One that, if it worked, would save me at least an hour of extra grinding. Lycanroc learns Rock Slide at level 34, a 90 accuracy rock type move that hits multiple targets on the opponent's side of the field, also known as a spread move. Spread moves have a 25% damage reduction when it hits multiple targets. So to ensure I killed the Marowak, I had to boost my own attack. Luckily, Rockruff comes with the move Howl, that increases your attack by 1 stage. So this was the plan. Have my Lycanroc hold a Rossberry so when Magmar's Flame Body pops, I can instantly heal it off, and not be in a terrible position. Next, I'd use Howl to boost my attack on the first turn, as a Marowak does for Detect. On the second turn, I'd use Rock Slide to take out both the Salazzle and the Marowak. I was a Salazzle, and now, everything rides on this Rock Slide. You're kidding me. Oh, really? Not every plan works 100% of the time, so I have to do all that grinding again.
On my rematch attempt though, I do actually close it out. By defeating the fire trial, I unlocked the Pokopelago. Now that I actually have it unlocked, I can explain what it does. The Pokopelago has 5 different islands, each with their own function. You have to develop them before you can use them, and there are 3 phases of development to each island. You start on Isle of Beans, where you can get beans to develop islands and randomly find Pokemon from time to time. There's Isle of Plenty, where you can grow berries. Isle of Fun, where you can find Shungite. Ever heard of Shungite? It's like this 2,000-year-old like rock, stone. Isle of Love, the only one that matters, and Isle of Dew, where you can hatch eggs. As mentioned before, Isle Level Up is the one we will be using. To develop an island, you need beans and Pokemon in your box. For the first phase of Isle Level Up, you need 45 Pokemon, so I got to catching. When you unlock Isle Level Up, you can use it as a facility. Isle Level Up allows your Pokemon to get EXP while you're gone. You do this by leaving your Pokemon behind at the facility and select how many sessions you want them to participate in. In Phase 1, your Pokemon get 50 EXP per session. In Phase 2, that number increases to 200, and in Phase 3, you get 500 per session. You can also get EVs from this place, but I banned that method. A quick warning is that this place functions like the Pokemon daycare in previous games. If a Pokemon were to learn a move after leveling up, this move would replace the top move the Pokemon had and put it at the bottom. Also, Pokemon don't evolve. Honestly, the grass trial isn't hard at all. If you can read more than 2 words, you can avoid fighting any trial Pokemon and immediately challenge the Totem Lurantis, who just gets gimmicked by Hawlucha again.
To prepare for the future, I catch 2 new Pokemon, a Steenie and a Wimpod. When they both evolve, they become very valuable assets. A Steenie with the ability Oblivious evolves into Serena with Queenly Majesty, an ability that negates any and all priority moves. And Wimpod evolves into Golisopod, a Pokemon with the strongest priority move in the game, First Impression. By looking into the code and using advanced algorithms, I figured out just how many sessions I needed to get my Steenie and Wimpod as close to evolving as possible. Then I evolved Wimpod, Zorua, and Steenie and made my way towards the Grand Trial. Hi Faba, bye Faba. But before we actually make it to the Grand Trial, we have to fight Team Comic Relief's big sister. I do feel bad for her. Time for the Grand Trial. Olivia's team consists of... Oh no. That Laleep has touched me in places. But this is a different game. It won't happen again, right? Right? The only reason that Laleep survived is because the AI can have EVs on Pokemon, and Laleep just so happened to be max defense. I was tired of losing, so I decided to get all my Pokemon trained up using the power of math, to not lose my good moves. Back to Olivia.
It missed! Of course it did! Oh! Ah!
A Laleep incident of Reset 34. No, I'm not fine. Smile. 3rd time's the charm, they say. So here we go. I Accelerock the Anorith. My first impression Satan, now that I remember that this is super effective, and Gimmick the Lycanroc. We're moving on.
We're invited to Aether Paradise, so who are we to refuse? Hi Faba, bye Faba. And in Aether Paradise, we meet... Hey Lusamine. Haha. Love me like one of your Kalos Pokemon. Ahaha. Wait, what's that? Holy shit, I know it's love, but that's not the love I meant. I refuse to be horny. I just want to be happy. So I'm bonking hentai for all my single comrades out there. May we find our happiness. Namaste. We arrive at the next island where we fight Hao again. I am kind of disappointed because Hao has been the only trainer with more than 3 Pokemon. Anyway, we Fire Punch the Dartrix, Drop Kick the Vaporeon, Accelerock the Noibat, Shadow Ball the Raichu, and Gimmick the Tauros after Intimidate drops my attack. Next up we have to meet up with Professor Kukui in Mally Garden, but I didn't know if I was fighting Guzma now, so I decided to prepare for Guzma anyway. This is where Serena will really shine. Let me tell you about priority brackets. You already know that priority moves outspeed Pokemon regardless of speed, but not every priority move is in the same priority bracket. An easier way to explain this is there are some priority moves that have more priority than others. Moves like Quick Attack, Sucker Punch, and Accelerock have +1 priority, First Impression has +2 priority, Fake Out has +3 priority, and Protect has +4 priority. So a Pokemon with First Impression, for example Guzma's Golisopod, will always attack before a Lycanroc with Accelerock. Serena doesn't have to worry about that though, because of its ability. I still have to use my powers as a time wizard to move time forward to get Serena to level 71. As it turns out, we actually don't have to fight Guzma and go straight to Hokulani Observatory. The next trial is a puzzle, followed by a battle. Unlike the fire trial, you can access your bag in the middle of the trial, so healing status effects aren't an issue. But what is similar to the fire trial is the fact that the totem Pokemon Togedemaru has Spiky Shield, another protection move that damages anything that makes contact with it. It also has a +2 defense aura, so physical moves are not recommended. This time, however, we can actually use a gimmick nuke to tear through the barrier, because we have an easy way to level up now. By leveling up Incineroar and letting it learn Flamethrower, we can equip it with the Firium Z and burn this trial to the ground. I got a little lucky with the Elekid though, because it has Quick Attack. All we have to do now is gimmick nuke the Togedemaru through its shield, just to see that it actually lived. I had to think fast. By taking out the Togedemaru, I had a 50% chance of living this turn because the Dene had 2 status moves.
So cool.
Lucky for us, it did go for Charm and we were able to beat the trial unscathed. After I beat the trial, Mullane gives me the Professor's mask. You mean to tell me that the Masked Royal is actually Kukui? Yeah, me completely fooled. But I guess that's what the point of the mask is. Yeah. I head back to Mali Garden to actually fight Guzma this time. Guzma tries to attack me when he should actually be licking Serena's queenly feet. With a classic gimmick nuke, we beat the Golisopod and Accelerock the Masquerade. We then make our way to the Aether House, where we leave a terrible first impression by beating up a young child's iPhone charger. Up next, we have the Ghost Trial. Things are going pretty smoothly, but we have absolutely no way of beating the Totem Mimikyu, because there's no way of destroying the disguise and beating it in the same turn. Well, if I didn't rush to the next trial, that is. After backtracking to Route 11, we catch a Pancham with Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker negates any opposing Pokemon's ability, making Disguise useless. And when Pancham evolves into Pangoro, it learns the priority move Bullet Punch, which is super effective. To KO the Mimikyu, we need to level up to not level 60, not 70, not 85, trust me, I tried, but level 90. I even gave Pangoro an Expert Belt to ensure it took Mimikyu out.
Mold Breaker. Bullet Punch. You have to kill. Thank you.
You!
After giving a little girl nightmares with a ghost story, we return to the Aether House to find more of the same Lycanroc food. Going inside, we find out that someone else has left an even worse first impression by stealing the kid's pet rat. There's only one man who could do such a thing. Guzma. We storm Team Comic Relief's base to prove that we are in fact the biggest threat to our society. Interestingly enough, you can get away with skipping a majority of the fights. If you know the password, you only have to fight like 4 trainers. Even though we beat him up 1 minute 41 seconds ago, I guess Guzma really wanted his queen to stomp on him again. Guzma is not a comrade. After saving the rat, we return to the Aether House just to find out that Lily has been abducted. Hearing this news, Gladion storms in and decides to take out his frustration on me. You know what they say about blonde people and being dumb?
Because same.
With an actual valid lead this time, I mop the floor with Gladion and we decide to set sail to the Aether Paradise again. Well, because Hao is pissing his pants at the very concept of not having fun, we fight Nanu while waiting for Hao to finish. Nanu has a pretty bulky team with a Sableye, an intimidating Krokorok, and a Furco Persian.
Physical moves are not recommended, but of course, I throw my own advice in the trash. We drop kick the Sableye with Serena because that's fake out. We brick break the Krokorok with Halucha, and nuke the Persian with the grass gimmick. But not before it tries to fake me out here. And here I thought the AI got smarter. We arrive at the Aether Paradise as public enemy number 1. We expertly solid snake our way through the guards to the elevator. Hi Faba, bye Faba. Going deeper into the facility, we have 3 consecutive battles with scientists. Even though one of them has a Magneton with Sturdy, we can easily make our way through because they throw X items like they throw games. We get into another tag team duel with Hao and go for Rock Slide. Unfortunately, the Gorbis and Huntail were more bulky than I anticipated and I get hit. This time though, I do win against them because of the Heartstone I equipped. We learn that Cosmog actually has use and go back up to find Cosmog. Oh, and Lily too I guess. The moment we arrive, we're instantly forced into another tag team duel. This time, we have more Satan, and I get Roxanne because I miss a Rock Slide. Double battles are really scary. And it doesn't help that the next required battle is another double battle. I noticed that instead of having to just take out 2 Pokemon, I had to take out 4. And I said, enough is enough. I went back to Haina Desert, to catch a Pokemon with Earthquake. I decided on getting an Alolan Ductrio, because it's really fast, strong, learns Earthquake, and has the Steel typing I need for the Fairy Trial. Catching the Ductrio went as well as you'd expect. Back in the Aether Paradise, 2 Earthquakes are enough to take out the Houndoom, Manectric, Electabuzz, and Magmar. But if you think things couldn't get any worse, you'd be so wrong. We're forced to fight Faber right after in yet another double battle, which would usually be fine now that I have Earthquake, but both enemies start off with a Pokemon that resists it. So I have to carefully pick my moves to make sure I don't get hit. I first pick off the Claydol, since it only has attacking moves, and Lydian's Bug Buzz one-shots Hao's Raichu. I then take out Faba's Hypno, and Hao's Noivern takes out the Lydian. This is where things get extremely dicey. While both Pupitar and Bruxish can get hit by Earthquake, the Bruxish actually has Aqua Jet, and I can't go for Sucker Punch on Bruxish because Pupitar is Snarl, a move that hits both me and Hao. And Noivern can't take out the Pupitar in one hit, so I have to hope and pray that the Bruxish didn't go for Aqua Jet.
Okay, doesn't affect Noivern. Oh my god! I first strike this fight? Oh, that's amazing! They only got 1 attack in.
We somehow got away with a victory on our first try. I'm so glad that after that battle we just had to deal with Team Comic Relief. For once I'm glad they exist. After more of the same from Guzma, we make our way to Lucimine's chamber. Not before we're stopped by Dolls. While they are exclusive to Ultra Sun and Moon, they don't really contribute to anything. And I feel bad for the Poipole, so I'm not really showing any fights. Just like every other time, Dolls doesn't even get a chance to attack with his 1 Pokemon. Next, we follow Lucimine and battle her for the title of Biggest Menace to Society. We're getting close to the end game and she's the 2nd trainer to have 5 Pokemon. Again, disappointing. She sends out a Clefable, and my Ductrio can immediately start killing fairies. We then drop kicked at Milotic, Brick Break the Lopunny, Gimmick the Beware because it's so fluffy I would have died without it, and finally, Aerial Ace her Lilligant. Well, she had to give up on the title of Biggest Menace to Society in this dimension. She leaves through a wormhole to threaten a different one. But doesn't she know that the dumbfucker's influence crosses the boundary of dimensions? Unfortunately, I can't travel between dimensions yet because my powers are nerfed. So we departed for Pony Island, and like a nomad, we're going on a spiritual journey to unlock the power of dimension hopping.
To use my dimension hopping powers, I needed a catalyst. A legendary Pokemon will suffice. To summon the legendary Pokemon, we need 2 flutes and bring them to the Altar of the Sun. One of these flutes was given to us, and the other we have to collect on Executor Island. After obtaining the Sun Flute, we head for the Altar of the Sun where we will summon the legendary Pokemon. Team Comic Relief seems to really like getting in my way. This time they're fighting us to ask us to save their boss who mindlessly threw his life away for a crumb of coochie. Don't know why they're getting in our way though. Anyway, enough distractions. Vast Pony Canyon is a very big place, so it's hard to see trainers from time to time. Just like this double battle. They have a Ninetales and a Sandslash, and as you can see, I wasn't too prepared for Snow Warning. I'm so glad they both only had one Pokemon. Ending the fight before I got hit by hail, that definitely got my heart racing. The next trainer coming up is a scientist with Magnezone. Because a scientist isn't guaranteed to go for an X item, I couldn't be careless, especially because I would lose a ton of progress if I dropped my guard. So I trained Incineroar up to a comfortable level where I would one-shot the Magnezone with a double kick that was boosted by the Fist Blade I bought in Melee. And I'm glad I did. Since you can avoid most trainers, that's what I did, but right in front of the next trial there are 3 unavoidable trainers. For the first trainer, it was pretty simple. Pop the Sturdy with double kick and then Brick Break the Lapras to win the fight. On to trainer number 2. I equipped Lycanroc with the Raspberry that didn't pop during the fire trial. Take down the Talonflame with an Accelerock, and Flame Body doesn't go off so we can keep the Raspberry. We then drop kick the Wailord, whose defenses aren't that great. The only way it did not kill was if the Wailord had max defense, and even then, it was a roll to kill. I was devastated. So much work, a bit of luck, and some serious brain power all went up into smoke. And after that, things just went downhill. I wanted to scream.
Nope, they just never do it. Never.
I wanted to break something.
Well, that one is what was expected. And of course,
Faba paid me back for all the times I neglected him.
No!
I was a prisoner to my own mistakes.
I forgot to equip my Raspberry. Wait, don't take damage, don't take damage, don't take damage. Stop again!
I wanted to do many things in my despair, but there's one thing I didn't want to do. I would never quit. I will persevere, and there is nothing that Faba will do, and there is nothing a single EV point will do, and there is nothing a single mistake will do to stop me. I'm here for the people. I will prove to the world that it is in fact possible to beat the Pokemon Ultra Sun damageless. And when I obtain the crown, we will look back and be proud of how far we've come. And we'll always remember that through every single hardship, we never quit. So after eliminating the final obstacle in between me and the Dragon Trial, it was time. Time to finally have a chance at saving all my progress. And I was out for blood. I happily beat up the Totem Pokemon's children. They were just a warm-up. The Totem Pokemon is where the real challenge begins. Unlike Sun and Moon's Kamo, this one actually does not protect, so it makes my life so much easier. Even after calculating with max defense, I was uncertain. All I had to do was hope that the gimmick nuke worked out.
To the moon, baby! Come on. Please! I believe in you! Let's go!
I was finally out of that painful loop. With a new Z Crystal and new hope, I end my spiritual journey and arrive at the altar of the sun, where we play the flutes to summon the legendary Pokemon. As I gaze upon the catalyst of my power, a new challenger approaches. It tries to steal my title as biggest menace to society, but I know 5% of my power can beat it. Or not. Not only does it steal my Pokemon, it steals all the light as well. So we do the one thing any responsible adult will let me do and chase after it using the robot people's vessel. Wait, hold up. Let me grab something real quick. We arrive at Ultra Megalopolis, where my worthy adversary is waiting. It's time for an epic showdown. We send out Hawlucha, which is actually an illusion, but this fool can't see through it. With this, I'll end it. I punish Necrozma for the grave sin of fucking with an 11-year-old that has access to his own archipelago. And that's the story of how I became the biggest menace to the universe and society. Does that even exist?
Headcanon.
After I make my way home, Mina, the fairy trial captain, invites me to her house so I can start the fairy trial. This trial has you fighting a lot of the trial captains again, to get flower petals which will then be used to summon the totem. We start with Mina's own flower petal. She starts off with a Mawile with Sucker Punch, so we send in Serena to Gimmick Nuke because her attack got lowered. After that, it's a clean sweep for Dugtrio with 2 Iron Heads. The fights with the trial captains aren't super interesting. You only have like 3 Pokemon, like at least give them a 4th Pokemon. So I'll give a quick rundown. In Holy Cemetery we found our first target, Elima. What? Did his Raticate die too? We Brick Break the Gumshoes, Dropkick the Smeargle to nullify its extreme speed, and Gimmick the Komalo because it has Sucker Punch. We catch Mallow getting high on the Pokemon in Lush Jungle and challenge her to a battle. We Aerial Ace the Trevenant, then Gimmick the Shinotic because I don't think you can get hit by Effect Spore when you use the Gimmick. Don't quote me on that. We then Aerial Ace the Serena, and I would be a liar if I said I wasn't thinking of using First Impression, knowing full well what its ability does. Next up is Kiawe. His Arcanine has extreme speed and intimidates, so we Gimmick with Serena again. I Accelerock with my Rostberry equipped Lycanroc. Crazy, how the only time I don't equip a Rostberry is when Flame Body procs. And I Crunch the Marowak with Lycanroc as well. Sophocles is depressed about Mullane leaving for the Pokemon League. And what do we do when we see a child depressed? That's right, make him more depressed by beating him in a Pokemon battle. We Earthquake the Togedemaru with Dugtrio, and then double kick both the Magnezone and the Golem because of Sturdy. We then freely acquire Nano's Flower Petal because he's an exclusive fight to Ultra Moon. Sophocles was the Ultra Sun exclusive. Now that I finally arranged the Rainbow Flower, it was time for the real trial to begin, with what has to be the most powerful foe I've ever faced. Totem Rabombi has an aura that gives it +2 in every stat. I send in Lycanroc to Accelerock it because I had no hope of outspeeding it, and that plan absolutely failed. It didn't even go for Quiver Dance, so I had to reset. At least now I know that it had defense EVs. I had no clue on how I would beat the Totem Rabombi, so I scoured through every single option I had. My first idea was Pangoro, but its damage is way too low to one-shot a defense-invested Rabombi with Bullet Punch. Next was Dugtrio. No, that wouldn't work because mine has a minus speed nature. Lycanroc couldn't beat it in one Accelerock unless it crit, so did I have to pray for that? Well, there's still one other option. Hawlucha has a very high base speed, so did it outspeed? To outspeed the Rabombi, I needed a speed stat of 317 or higher. That is, if the Rabombi didn't have speed EVs. 310 speed. I just needed a little more. I suck at explaining things, so if you want a crash course on how EVs work, you can Google it. But thanks to the EXP share also passing out EVs to every Pokemon in the party, your EVs are usually very spread out when you reach the end of a Pokemon game. Just like with my Hawlucha. There was no way of getting any more EVs because I had hit the cap, but there was a way of removing already earned EVs. By going to Route 10, there is a berry heat that can give you 3 to 5 berries depending on the size. This specific berry heat gives out berries that can lower EVs, so that's what I did. I lowered Hawlucha's defense, then went to Vast Pony Canyon to train against Golbat, to get just enough EVs to have a speed stat of 317. But this still didn't answer the question. Did the Rabombi have speed EVs? We just had to wait and see.
Please be nice. Please just be 316. Please be 316. Oh. Justice reigns from above. We already saw a kill before. So worth it.
As soon as we're done with the fairy trial, we can immediately fight Hapu on Executor Island, in which has got to be the easiest trial of them all. I used Dropkick on the Golurk, I gimmicked the Flygon because it's the only thing that isn't weak to grass moves, another Dropkick takes out Mudsteel, and Gastrodon just disintegrates. Just like that, I'd completed all of the trials. There are just 2 more obstacles in my way, Mount Lanakila and the Pokemon League. Let's head up the elevator and end this run. Okay, for real this time. Well, I did say I wasn't prepared for hail, so I went back to Haina Desert and grabbed the safety goggles. These goggles prevent me from getting damaged by the weather. I just needed to find the right Pokemon to equip it to. I chose Dugtrio. I Iron Hit the Crobat. I Earthquake the Lucario. Another Earthquake on the Water Silvally, which was actually a Zoroark. And finally, one more Earthquake to cause a catastrophe. Like every other area in the game, you can easily skip out on a lot of the trainers in Mountain Lanakila. There was just one more battle in between me and the Pokemon League, and this battle wasn't easy. They lead off with a Vikavolt and a Glalie. Pretty simple. I just have to watch out for the Ice Shard from Glalie. The Pokemon in the back are the real issue. The fortress is sturdy, and unlike every other Pokemon I've faced, this one actually isn't weak to fighting type moves. And the other Pokemon that was sent out was a Tyranitar. Tyranitar had the ability Sandstream, which sets up Sandstorm. And instead of using Double Kick from Incineroar because there was no way it was taking out Fortress, I decided to use the Mold Break of Pangoro. Hammer Arm wasn't guaranteed to KO, and I was forced to equip the safety goggles, so I had to get lucky. I couldn't just boost up my Hammer Arm like I always did before. By teaching Lycanroc Brick Break, I was able to KO the Tyranitar, and Pangoro was, luckily, able to take out the Fortress. Now with nothing left to stand in my way, I could start my preparation for the Pokemon League. I wrote down my entire game plan, so that when I failed, I could always go back and see where it went wrong. I've come a long way, and with one final look at my starter, we enter the Pokemon League. We start with the Flying type Elite Four member, whose name is apparently Kahili, because this fight is very janky. I equip my Lycanroc with the Heartstone and Accelerock the Brave Yard. I then Aerial Ace her Hawlucha with my own Hawlucha. Mandibuzz is just a little too bulky to take out reliably with Accelerock, so I go for Rock Slide, which connects. She then sends out the Toucannon. Toucannon has a signature move called Beak Blast. By heating up its beak first, it will burn anything that makes contact with it. So I was forced to press Rock Slide, because I couldn't risk getting burned. If she had sent it out last, I would have gone for Accelerock, something I even wrote down in my game plan. The Rock Slide connects, and we then take out the Oricorio with an Accelerock, to beat the first Elite Four member. We then take on Mullane, because one of my moves wasn't guaranteed to KO, but there was a bigger elephant in the room. Mullane's first Pokemon is a Klefki, a Pokemon with the ability Prankster, which gives priority to status moves. It had 3 of those. If it went for Spikes, I couldn't switch out. If it went for Reflect, my mostly physical team couldn't KO anything, and Thunder Wave could paralyze me and I'd most definitely take a hit because it halves my speed. So did I just have to get lucky? Was it over? No, because Queenly Majesty works on moves boosted by Prankster. I'm starting to think that this ability might just be a little bit broken. I gimmick the keys to finish them off. Bisharp goes down to a Brick Break from Hawlucha. Magnezone wasn't a guaranteed kill with a Fist Blade boosted Double Kick, but it did. Metagross gets crunched by Pangoro, and my Dugtrio shows its superiority over his Dugtrio. 2 Elite Four members down, 2 more to go. After giving the safety goggles to Incineroar, I make my way to Olivia. Olivia hasn't met my Dugtrio yet. It has beautiful hair, is really cool, and I love him. I take out the Armaldo with an Iron Head and then send an Incineroar on Probopass. She has a Gigalith on her team with Sandstream, so I equipped Incineroar with the safety goggles just in case it came out before Probopass. A Double Kick takes out the Probopass, and then it's a clean sweep for Dugtrio. Suck on that. I quickly shuffle some items around and take on Acerola. There's only one Pokemon on our team that has a priority move, which is surprising because he's a Ghost type trainer. I was expecting some more Shadow Sneaks. I crunched a Bayonet and then T-pose on the Delmice. A Miracle Seed boosted Dropkick makes the Sandcastle collapse. Next is the Frostlass, who has Ice Shard, and we take it out with an Accelerock. And finally she sends out a Drifloon. If you don't know, Drifloon has an ability called Aftermath, which damages the Pokemon that KOs it with a contact move. So to make sure I don't take damage, I Gimmick Nuke it with Incineroar's Flamethrower, a special move. It was finally time. Every single battle had prepared us for the final showdown. If I win now, I not only become the champion, but I also successfully beat Pokemon Ultra Sun without taking damage. Because it's the final battle, I'll let it play out.
Kind of my hero. Oh god, parasocial. Can't do that.
The reason we go for Sucker Punch against the Raichu is because that Raichu does in fact have Quick Attack. Alright.
We're going blow for blow. Sure.
Next up, Vaporeon. Dropkick. Mystical Seed.
Miracle Seed. That's what it's called. Miracle Seed. Not Mystical Seed. That's the Pokemon Rejuvenation thing. And Reborn.
Glad I can get this out of the way, actually. Here we go. Red Break from Nutmeg. Noivern. Lycanroc. Accelerock. Heartstone. Tauros. Is Hawlucha fighting Z-move. Here we go. Tauros is down. Now finally, our starters will duke it out in the final battle of the Pokemon Ultra Sun Damageless. Run. It's been fun. It's been very, very tough as well. But what's more poetic than finishing off with a T-spin, T-pose spin from my starter? Assert your dominance. Let's go! Oh my god! Oh. Oh. What a rush. What a fucking rush.
And with that, I have proven that it is in fact possible to beat Pokemon Ultra Sun Damageless. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and comment for the algorithm. This video took a very long time to make, and any support is appreciated. You can also subscribe. It's that cool button that says subscribe below the video. I do unnecessarily hard challenges all the time. And follow the Twitch because I stream. Anyway, I'll see you around. Later.